Good evening, Key Biscayne. It is Wednesday, February 10th, 2016, and this is your No One's Listening show. I'm Rafa, your host. To my left is G-Man.
Hey, Key Biscayne. All right, welcome to the show.
And to his left is Manny.
Rafa, thank you so much. It's been 2 weeks or so, or 3 weeks since I've been out here. It's great to be back. I'll be out the next couple of weeks after this one, but G-Man, I got your $10 right here. This is the
analog money. All right.
Host. For those of you that don't know, that's the G-Man. It's great to see you. I feel like I am in the inner circle here of, like Hall of Fame, Rat Radio Hall of Fame guys. $10 hosting fee, or come on out. You want to come out? $10.
Yeah, I mean that's what I proposed, and we had a lengthy. I don't know if we want to get into this early into the show. But we kind of had like a little lengthy debate after last week's show. Was that last week?
Mm-hmm.
Just like kind of the uncomfortableness of having a guest and charging them, and how some people weren't that happy about that. I'm open to like debate about the dollar amount or whatever. But if you like Rat Radio and you want to participate, and I think everybody that's here right now will agree that this is a pretty cool thing we have going. And
Listen,
and I think it's worth throwing into the pot. I'd be honored to if I wasn't.
I'll pay
part
for my
of the
guests.
management team here.
I'll pay for my guests happily. I want to bring more people
into
this. So as we've been doing. So
yeah, we got into a whole thing because I want to charge the guests. Some people were like, we should only pay for our own guests and all this stuff. And I was like, well, I believe in it so strongly that I don't have any problem telling people that they have to pay. But other people think it's like bad to ask people for money, and they're kind of right. I mean, you don't want to ask people for money.
Well, and the line basically the debate was about where to draw the line. Like, what's a valuable guest that doesn't have to play? When we had 90s Color on a few months ago, I mean, obviously they're riding free, because that's such a benefit to the show. But if you have just like a member of the community who wants to come on, it's nice to encourage them to not come on and not have to charge them something. But I think most people would understand that, the radio is a venture that costs a little bit of money, and it's nice to just have some input.
Maintenance costs.
Maintenance costs, yeah. It's not like a scam or anything. It really does cost a few
nobody's
bucks.
spending this money on anything.
Believe me, when you come out and see this and be part of this, you'll be like just throwing money at these guys.
So
you'll just be throwing money at these guys.
It always sucks to be the payment police,
Yeah.
And I'll give it up to Rafa last week, kind of taking a hard stand, because I get kind of soft when it comes to that stuff.
All right. Well, I'm for the record here in front of everybody. I'm in for today.
All right. All right. Thank you, Manny. Thank you, Manny. You're a true friend and participant.
Awesome, brother.
On Rat Radio.
It's an honor.
All right. Let's start off with the way we always start off. It's called Weekend Talk. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll start off on kind of a sullen note. So Joy Freed, the matriarch of the wonderful Freed family, passed away on Saturday.
No way.
Yep, a few days before her 87th birthday. Sorry, she was born in 1929. And she had taken like a steep downturn as of late, but it's still just a tragedy. Just a wonderful woman. I got to go to her the service at the Temple Israel yesterday. And after that, there was a procession that took us to a very old cemetery in West Miami. It was pretty cool. The cops guided us the whole way. It was really nice. And we went to Morton Joy's house afterwards, had some drinks, and I don't know, it was a really neat experience.
How is everybody holding up?
Pretty well. I mean, a lot of people from the Freed family I haven't seen in a while were there, and it was just, very emotional. The service was great. Just a beautiful day, really. I was happy to have taken part in it.
Jeez. How's Mort, and how's...
Mort's still walking around. He's 94 years old. He knew who I was, and you know how it is with deaths. Everybody's around and kind of keeping the mood light, but then it kind of sinks in after a few days, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, on another somber note, we lost a friend this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Peter Alzola, man. Love Peter. If you knew Peter, everyone said the same thing about him. Prince of a man. Great smile. Always just
always in a good mood. When you told me, I couldn't believe it, because I always saw him. I had no idea. Then you told me what had happened. He had a heart attack, I think.
Yeah, he had a heart attack a few months ago, 3 months ago. And it'd been one procedure after another. But Peter, rest in peace, man.
Wow.
Love you. Wow, bringing the show. Rafa, you know what? It's been the start of 2016 has been a little crazy.
Yeah.
Remember how it started?
Yeah, of course I remember how it started. Okay.
By the way, there was news on that too.
I have some lighthearted weekend talk too, but we'll go to Rafa first.
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
I do too, man. Let's do a redo. Are we live yet?
Okay, I'll start on. I think it was Thursday. Yeah, I don't think I went out Wednesday. On Thursday, I went to the noise conference at Churchill's that I told you guys about. I think I mentioned in last show where bands just play noise. And it sounds kind of like when I hadn't gone before. It was the 13th, 15th year, something like that they do this. And they, so I thought it was going to be just completely random, and it was, but there was, to me at least, there was something nice about hearing the noise. And then, like, I got so into it that as the bands kept going, it was just like a regular show that the bands that were playing later were better, which is strange because in the end it's like this haphazard mess of
but there's still a hierarchy among them.
Yeah, and there's ones that are better at it than others.
Yeah.
And then there was one point where I even got mad that one of the bands wasn't noisy enough. They were too rhythmic, and I was like, "What is these guys?"
I like the way you call them bands.
They're all bands. Like they're all like real bands, but they come and just play the noise. And so there was one band who started playing this stuff, and you could like follow along to the beat. And I was like getting mad. I was like, "Wait, you're not supposed to be able to follow along like this. Like this is supposed to be like just a mess of noise." I was hanging out mostly in the patio because you could still hear it. I didn't want to be inside because it's like it's intense, you know. But you could still hear it, and it was cool. And then I went to this back room, and this room it's maybe like, I don't know, like as big as right here from the door to that panel right there. So what is that, like 10 by 7, 10 by, it might have been like a 10 by 10 room.
Small.
Yeah. And it had couches around it, and it had a full drum set in it, and two guys, one guy playing bass and one guy playing guitar. And I get into this room, and it's lit by a black light. Okay, that's it. And there's like, it's standing room only in this room.
Sounds pretty sketchy.
It's all the way in the back. It's super sketchy.
Naked people in there? I mean, there's got to be like one or two naked people in there.
Well, here's what I'm getting at. I get in, and there's a band playing like these guys weren't actually playing noise. Like when I walked in, they were playing like a heavy metal thrash noise sound. And the drummer was this chick all tatted up, and she had her top off. And I was like, "Is that a dude or is that a chick?" And I couldn't tell. And I was like, "Oh no, that's a chick." And she's just free the situation. It wasn't like sexual at all.
Right.
It was just like weird and
just
crazy.
Chaos in there.
And so what's funny is that I was like, "Oh, this is what a cool, weird vibe," you know? And then I told Andy to come. And Andy had never been to church. And he comes in, and I'm like, "Dude, look how cool this is. Everything's cool. There's a pool table. There's all this stuff. And everybody's kooky and weird, and it's cool." And he was having none of it. He didn't like the noise. He went into that back room. Another band was in there. I remember he told me, which I thought was cool, but he told the exact same story like it was the worst thing that ever happened to him. So imagine that story that I was just telling, but just the same, but just disgusted. And what he saw was a dude dressed in like a full, what would you call this? Like almost like a burlesque type outfit, you know what I mean? Like with the corset. Oh, that's what it was. A corset and the pantyhose and all this stuff. A dude playing guitar and playing the guitar with a dildo.
Dude, you are dialed in, Rafa. You are dialed in.
This was the
How
worst thing I've ever seen. How do you find
these places, man? I mean, the last place it was a house that was plated in gold or something, gold frames. What was that?
You gotta look for these things.
You find these places like in international zones. You find them too.
Let me get this straight though. Andy went there, and I mean, you gave us your account of what this was going to be like a couple of shows ago. That was just a bunch of noise and whatever, and you get drawn to these, kind of quirky things to see what they're all about. So you appreciate that. But why would Andy go if he kind of knew exactly what it was going to be, right?
Yeah, I told him exactly what it was, but he was kind of bored, and he was on his motorcycle, and you know how he likes to ride and do whatever and have a place to go. So I was like, "Oh, come by Churchill's because that's I'm here.
Was there
I saw
a
that
charge at the
Churchill's
door?
once. That noise thing.
Was there a charge did you have to pay to get in?
No, that's the best part. There's no
Okay,
charge.
okay.
So and it's the drinks are really cheap there. And so he came in. We hung out for a little bit, but he left. Even though we were outside of the patio where it wasn't noisy at all. I mean, it was just you heard it in the background, But he was just like, he would even if it was good and he liked it, he would have only been there for like 15 minutes because he was there to ride in, ride out type of thing,
Right.
So that's what I did on Thursday.
Well, we did a fun thing on Saturday night. It was the Lighthouse had an event. Friends of the Lighthouse had an event inviting people from the Key. And, you put it out there to different people, and people are like, yeah, that sounds fun. So it ended up with a ton of people going. And have you ever been to an event there?
I have.
Yeah, they have like an area in the back where they set up almost like, not food trucks, but like tables and a concession area, nice wine, and more than cheese. I mean, just a nice layout. And the Lighthouse, they light it up. And I climbed the stairs of the Lighthouse. I was like, I can do this, man. I just started running up, counting them. Like, let's count them. Have you ever been up there?
Yeah, I've been up there.
It's my first time.
Really?
You been up there, G-Man?
Yeah. I have, but only within the last year, living out here my entire life.
Well,
Finally decided I had to do it.
We get there, and we're, I'm like, at the bottom of the stairs, I'm like, everyone, let's count. See what you get on top. So I go through the thing, and it's like 84, 85. It's like 90, 100. And I start hearing, watch your head. And I'm like, 102, 103, watch your head. I was like, what? I hear somebody yelling, watch your head. And then I stop, and I look up. There's 108, and I was at 105 almost. And the ceiling comes tight there because there's an end. You know what I mean? And I stopped, man. Thank God, because I was going to knock myself out and probably fall all the way back down. But I got up there, and I was almost dizzy. The view was beautiful. 108 steps.
108 steps. Yeah.
Oh, that could have been trivia.
It's like that person who heard you counting knew exactly how many steps it was before the person hit their head and said,
This
107,
This was somebody who was coming down.
Right.
And she had already been up there.
Okay.
And she's like 7 years old. So as we're leaving, we go there. It's a beautiful setup. I had Chico with me. Chico's running around free, with like raccoons and stuff there. And as I'm looking at the radar, I'm like, you guys, man, we better go. Because we knew there was weather coming. You weren't here on Saturday?
I wasn't.
Remember Saturday? The rain on Saturday? Saturday night?
Yeah.
We got caught in that. On the golf carts. My cart, no roof. We were like hiding under a little, the entrance there, the lighthouse. There's a little hut. I backed my golf cart into that.
Oh.
We hung out there until all that rain passed.
No wonder the studio is so clean.
So anyway, that was a super fun event. Super fun event. G-Man, you said you had something good on the weekend too.
No, I mean just to lighten up the mood. I went up to Boston and saw some snow, just kind of a cool novelty for me. Did some sledding. Went around downtown Boston, did some bar hopping there, had a good time.
And we got a call in here.
We got a call in?
Yeah, we got a call in.
All right.
Anna, you're on the air. We're talking weekend. How was your weekend?
Hey guys. Well, I called in to try to answer the trivia so I could win a free beer, but
we got the trivia. Give her the trivia. The stairs.
Okay,
she wasn't listening.
Anna, you weren't listening, so here's the trivia.
Oh, whatever. Okay, what's the trivia?
How many steps on the way up to the lighthouse, to the top?
Oh, I'd say 54.
What?
Wow, that's
what kind of lighthouse is that?
50%.
That's pretty incredible. That's exactly you guessed exactly half.
Now what's the answer?
Oh.
Tell her what's the answer.
She takes double steps.
So what's the answer then?
What? What's the answer? Oh, 108.
Yeah.
You got it. Congratulations.
All right.
Oh my God. Well, I wanted to call, say hello, and guess the trivia. I'll take half of you because I got half the answer.
Tell her what she wants. You want a pin.
Weekend talk. I'll give you a little bit of weekend talk.
Give us a Saturday.
Okay, I'll give you Saturday. I met up with Rafa and Lala, and we had a really freaking cool winter Saturday. We had lunch at Mandolin, sat outside, had a boozy lunch, and after that we drove over to Gallery Diet for an artist lecture and to look at some artwork. After that we went to Sweat Records, saw some records, went to Churchill's, had a beer. It was the music, whatever, the noise conference, the INC. But we sat outside. And then we went over to Youngard's to go see this jazz and skateboard event that they were having, where they built the half pipe underneath the building there and had a jazz band play live. And the skateboarders just do like cool little moves while the jazz was going on. And surprisingly, it did match really well. I like it, and Rafa can speak more about it because I know the phone isn't the best thing on the air, but it was cool.
Yeah, and then we went to the corner.
Yeah, Rafa can tell you more once I hang out, but I miss you guys. I'm at a lecture. The lecture's about to start. Have a glass of wine in my hand, so cheers.
Is the person lecturing actually there, or is it going to be a Skype in?
No, he's actually here. No, that was a bad on the young card's part, but no, it's very cool. So here, Locust, it's in the design district. It's cool.
All right.
Emiliano Giovanni, so it's good. It's
Well,
really good.
Thanks for calling.
No problem. I miss you guys. Have a good show.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Anna. Good calling. All right.
So she didn't go into detail, but that was like my Saturday. We went to that first. She said we went to that Gallery Diet. That's the name of the gallery, and they had a thing called In the Flesh, and that was the exhibition. And it was like trying to separate, like, so if you guys don't know, like, art's about ideas. Basically, it's about the art. I guess like good art needs, and this goes for books too. You need a good idea. You need a good way to tell it, and then you need the technical know-how to tell it, okay? So without one of those three, you don't get anywhere. So anyway, the idea of this exhibition is some kind of, it was called In the Flesh, and it's kind of like separating the what I got from it anyway, because we missed half the lecture, so I don't know exactly, but it's kind of like trying to separate the body from the mind and trying to just kind of seeing what the body is about without thinking of it as a person. And the coolest one was this thing. It was like a sculpture, and it looked kind of like a human body, but it was also like a human body with no skin, kind of folded up. But at the same time, it wasn't a human body. Like there was nothing on it that actually said this is like this. There was nothing on it that was like human. But you looked at it and you just thought to yourself, well, that looks like a human, but it's not. Like nothing of it. Well, there was no head, there was no eyes, there was no nothing. But it kind of gave you the illusion that it was. Anyway, that was really cool. And then we went to noise conference for a little bit. It was early, so the bands kind of sucked. And then we went to Sweat Records, just check out record store. And then we went to the corner, and it was good. It was really good, actually.
Alrighty.
So I guess that's weekend talk.
That's weekend talking. Big time. A lot of weekend talk.
Yeah.
It's about a 20-minute weekend talk.
Not bad. It's actually Wednesday, February 10th, 2016.
Still?
So no one's listening show, and it's 6:50 p.m. So that wasn't that long for a weekend talk. Let's go to what you're listening to real quick. Let's get this going. I'll tell you what I'm listening to. I found this artist chick whose name is Leanne LaHavas, and the song's called Forget. And she's going to be coming with another dude named Leon Bridges to the Fillmore in September. And I stumbled upon it randomly. Somebody showed it to me, and it was on NPR Tiny Room something on YouTube. The song Forget, it's so good on the thing. I had to like rip it out of I took the video, I ripped out the song, and have it ready to go on the radio because it was so good. So check that out.
All right, my pick for the week is the opening theme song to the 90s Nickelodeon classic Pete and Pete, which is, I think it's Polaris. Hey Sandy might be the name of the song. Is that right?
That
Hey
is
Sandra.
right.
Hey Sandy. Hey Sandy. That's good.
That is a good song. That has to go.
And just watching it be performed, I didn't know exactly what it was, so I looked it up 2 days ago. And just watching it be performed, like in the opening credits there, it's kind of...
How did you think of tuning into that?
I don't know, because I thought that I needed to come up with a music selection. I was like, that's just good 90s rock right there. That needs to be on the route. I would love it. Every time I request something within the next week, credit to Rafa, it does come on.
Yeah.
It seems like, as I listen to the radio a lot.
I try. In the past,
And
like,
I'm
2
always
weeks,
very pleased, so...
in the past 2-3 weeks, I haven't done it, but then I stack them all up and throw them all on. That song is so good. I'm such a fan of the song. Bum, 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 hey, Sandy. All right. Manny?
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna be listening to, and I want to be listening to it with you. Grassroots is coming up. I'm not gonna be on the out here with you guys next week, and that's leading up to Grassroots. So I want to encourage everyone to go. Saturday night is gonna be. There's a great lineup Saturday. It starts early with Donna the Buffalo at like 4ish, and it continues with the Family Stone wrapping it up on Saturday night on the main stage. And then it keeps going in the dance tent also. So, you can stay as long as you want, as late as you want. It gets as weird as you want. But I hope you guys are going to be there.
Of course.
Sunday, we're thinking about maybe doing a paddle out there. We're going to get Nelson's flatbed truck and load it up with paddle boards and launch from Crandon Marina, right there where there's a perfect launch spot. You can plenty of parking. Yeah. And just paddle around the mangroves there, Bear Cut under the bridge, and then right across. Just pull right in on the paddle boards to catch maybe a couple hours. There's not probably not going to be any admission or anything like there on the beach when you're paddling right up.
Yeah.
So you're just going in there to
watch out crossing that Bear Cut.
I was gonna say, be careful with that. Be careful with that mission.
Yeah, no,
depending on the weather.
That's doable. Have you seen it lately? It's beautiful.
Oh, it's very doable. It's just if it's windy, it just matters on the crazy there.
It matters on the weather.
What do you think is the best way? Probably to go to the little beach there and
just kind of putt along the beach.
Cross after the.
I would go straight across to Rasmus and then kind of weasel along the shoreline there.
Okay.
So you're not out in the middle. Manny's the paddle master.
Yeah, it's probably nicer on the inside of Bear.
It depends how it's blowing. It depends how it's blowing, because on the outside also sometimes it's perfect. You can go right under the bridge there, and then go along those flats, those beaches out there where it really stays flat for a long time. The actual cross of where the channels are out there, it's not that big. So it gets shallow. It's shallow on both ends. So that's what I was thinking. If the weather's right. Then that would be it. It obviously it all depends on the weather, but if you want to be part of that, that's going to be fun.
I'm so ready for Grassroots, man. I have such a good time every time I go. I love that it's a big festival with not a lot of people.
It's the fifth one.
Yeah.
I remember we were talking from the beginning about, oh man, I hope they come back, because the first year it rained, it was awful, but they had a 3-year deal. I'm like, Rafa, they have to come back.
Yeah.
And they came back and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the third year, magical. And then last year, people still haven't found out about this.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this year it's going to be as good as last year.
You going to corral your whole crew again?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of people.
Is it because people haven't found out about it, or is it because the target audience isn't really that big in Miami? Or do you think if people knew more about it, they would come from far away?
They don't promote it. They kind of see it as like a long haul type of thing, like if they get the right price for the festival, it makes sense to them.
They really do it for themselves and for their family. This is like an extended family. Donna the Buffalo is behind it, and it's like a moving operation. It's like a circus.
Right.
They do, and it's not the only one here. They do several of them over the course of the year, but this is one of their favorite ones for obvious reasons. So that's my music bid.
Nice. All right, moving on. Before we get to Talk of the Town, I wanted to mention that it's Valentine's Day on Sunday. I forgot to get a girlfriend again, but I was wondering if you guys could give us some tips on what to do on Valentine's Day, on the key, off the key, how to some love tips from the Rat Radio crew.
Rafa, that's like an evil genius laugh, man.
I just think the idea of us talking about this is kind of funny.
It's a grapevine.
Yeah. Yeah. But okay.
Remix.
Okay. better than that. Better question, so I can like just shoehorn you guys into to something that you can answer without being so open-ended. You've got $30. How do you take a girl out on Valentine's Day and make it feel like it's worth a pretty penny, or make it feel like it's just a good date?
I like it, Rafa. I like it. So, shall I take you through my $30 run?
Yeah.
Okay. So, first thing I'm going to do, it's Sunday, right? So, first thing I'm going to do is on Saturday, I'm going to check my fridge and see what I have in there already, right? And I find, oh, well, I've got some, got a little bit of fruit, got some, drinks, I've got whatever. Then I check the weather. The weather on Sunday, what's it going to be like? That's going to decide my plan. And then I'll just map it out from there.
Let's say it's a nice day.
It's a nice day.
Yeah.
All right. So a nice day would call to be outside. You want to maybe go for a bike ride. That's free. Maybe go for a paddle. That's free.
I feel like a paddle is a good idea because, you tire them out and then they're like, well, there's nothing else.
No, Rafa, that's wrong. It's not that you don't want to tire them out at all. The nice thing about a paddle is that
they don't want to go out.
The nice thing about a paddle is that it's early. So like, you're finished with the paddle, like beyond finished with the paddle at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
I mean, usually 10. So you're right. It is early. So there's time for a nap. Maybe have some of those treats that you pack, maybe whatever it is, some mango slices, whatever it might be. And so you've had a beautiful little Valentine's Day. And how much have we spent so far, Rafa?
$0.
$0. So you still have $30 to figure out something for later for tonight. All right. So it's take a break time. Okay, whatever. We'll get back. Okay, and then. What do you got? I'm halfway through a date here, and I've spent $0. You go.
Okay. My go-tos for not spending anything. Obviously, it's a lot easier during the day. Okay.
I know that was not fair.
The day is much easier, but it's Sunday. It's Sunday, so you don't have to.
And Monday is.
Oh, it's President's Day, but who gets off on President's Day?
Everybody.
Really?
Yeah. Every kid is off.
Yeah?
Every mom and dad are off.
Oh, I thought most people worked. Well, that's not good. That's not good for the $30 plan. So my go-tos are usually, Crandon Zoo.
Bike ride?
Yeah, bike ride or a scenic tour. Find a way to get there so you don't have to spend the $5 to park. Maybe take a walk along the boardwalk. And then, of course, you got to do the home cooked meal, man. The home cooked meal,
That's money.
But you gotta give it a little.
Okay, let's back up
a little something, because if not, it doesn't feel like, Valentine's Day. You gotta have like a candle or something, because if not, some placemats. If not,
you know what? I just did. I'm gonna pull out of that $30. I'm gonna take. $20 and go and buy some amazing produce at the farmer's market on Saturday before that Sunday Valentine's. I'm going to plan it out right. Maybe I'm going to pick up one of the nice candles there for $5, 5, 10, 50, whatever it is. All right. So I'm still under my thumb. $25.
Woo.
And the rest of the second half of the date has just been laid out by you. It's a home cooked meal.
Yeah, the home cooked meal. It only fails if you only just started dating and
you're looking like a cheapskate.
No, you're looking like you just want to get her back to your house.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And
well, is it my turn yet?
You're not taking Valentine's dates. I think if there's
I don't think that as long as you don't make it seem like she's just there just so you can get laid, I think you're going to be golden.
I don't think it seems that way. It seems that way, nor does it need to seem that way.
It really depends on your living situation too. You guys know I kind of live in a cave on the Key, which is nice, but I have to think of these kind of things all the time to make it, nice.
Yeah.
If I have a date over or whatever, you know, because I cook on a grill. I live in a very small room.
Bring
and
her
you
out
got
here. Bring her out
No,
here.
I mean and I like it. Like I've always prided myself on being resourceful and stuff like that.
So what's your perfect day,
my
G-Man?
$30 date would be getting $20 worth of food for a good dinner, and it doesn't have to be something awesome. I think most girls are just impressed, honestly, by the fact that you would cook for them.
A little bit, yeah.
You know, because a lot of guys will not do that. They have absolutely no ability, and it really doesn't take much. Some boiled pasta with some dressing, like freaking a steak or whatever, some marinated chicken breast, a salad on top, and then serve them like they're at a restaurant. You know,
Nice,
like, oh, you
G-Man,
need that.
nice.
So you're $20 deep right now. Throw a candle in there, whatever. Maybe like a lantern. Put on some music from the radio station you run and talk about that. You know, because there's special. Oh, here you go. Put on a ID on the radio, timed just perfectly, wishing happy Valentine's Day.
Hey.
That would be a nice touch.
Wow, that's not even fair.
I
Right
mean,
there.
we don't have to pay Rafa anything to do that.
That's
I don't
not even
think. I mean, he'd
fair.
probably roll his eyes when he told him to do it, but and then play some really corny music that she likes right after that. Oh, it'd be golden. All right, so we're only $20 deep right now, right?
Wow.
All right, so now I got the $10 bottle of wine ready to go. And the golf cart's all loaded up to get down that. What's that new Sinesta place called?
Oceana?
Chico's Path.
Oceana. Yeah, Chico's Path. You take it down Chico's Path, and like you said,
Got two
depending on the
chairs waiting
weather.
for you.
Well, no, I mean you just pack it up like we did on New Year's Eve. I don't think either one of you guys made it out there, but we set up a pretty good little party out there, and it was
Out
all
there at the end of the path.
yeah, and it was all out of a golf cart. I brought a
You
fold-up
drove
table.
your golf cart all the way down there, right?
I did. I brought a fold-up table. I brought a portable
Who started
speaker.
that, man? That was
The what?
driving their golf cart down that Oceana Path.
I mean, I did it as
Yeah,
soon
you
as they
did.
finished it. Oh, you started it. All right.
no, that's not what I meant. I'm just happy to see that it's being used, man.
I hope nobody blows up the spot
I
because
know.
that's a great little secret. I also take my motorcycle down there.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
That's another thing. Maybe
If
the
they do, there's
motorcycle,
another one.
depending, you know, and then you go down there and then you have the bottle of wine, listen to some music. And I mean, the deal should be sealed by that point, I think, right? Maybe if you want to get crazy, like some kind of present that doesn't cost you anything, like a picture, a couple pictures in a frame or something like that.
I
You know?
don't think. Yeah, it's-
Hey.
Something like thoughtful that doesn't cost any money.
So one of the things I'm thinking about right now is that for our listeners that are married, the plan of eating at home, there's no way to apply. You
Yeah,
know?
but it's
like-
but how many? I mean, I've been out on Valentine's Day many a time, and it is a muck. There's nowhere to go.
Oh yeah.
It is. You're waiting. Everything's. I mean, do you want to really be doing that on Valentine's Day, waiting and waiting and waiting to eat somewhere? It's so much better just to get your food beforehand and cook. Maybe if you want to get crazy and it was good weather and we're lucky enough to live on the Key, depending on the style of woman that you're dating or married to, maybe you could cook out on the beach. You know.
Well, Ralph, it goes back to what you mentioned earlier, is and how you started the segment with. I think it was. I still don't have a girlfriend. Right?
I forgot to get a
I
girlfriend.
forgot to get a girlfriend. That was it. Much better. It's not even about like presents and stuff like that. It's about the presence, man. It's about the right connection.
You are hilarious. That's funny.
I'm serious.
I know, that was a funny line.
So, if you haven't, what was it that you said? You haven't what? Figured out how to get a girlfriend, or
If you've forgotten to
oh,
get
you
a girlfriend?
forgot. You forgot. Yeah, you forgot. Don't think of it like you forgot, because just think of it that she hasn't come across your path yet.
No,
No.
I mean,
I think Rafa's just a guy in a store with so many options that he just can't decide, right?
no, I don't want to say that.
No, Rafa, no, that's not the case at all,
I'm just
listeners.
trying to be funny for the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were funny.
That's actually a
You'll know that
that's a
you're
Philip J. Fry line.
you're not forgetting. Don't worry, you're not forgetting.
So another thing for Valentine's Day, I want to know. Never mind.
Come on, Rafa.
Well, that was a good question.
This is the Grapevine remix, the men's edition.
Okay. What about if you had to go to a restaurant on the Key for Valentine's? What do you think is the place that's gonna give you the best
We're not-
experience?
Rafa, are we still under the $30 thing?
No, we're not. Obviously not. Unless you're going to Oasis. Oh my god, I can only imagine a date at Oasis.
Subway's open until 11. How about Pita Pocket?
Hey,
You know what?
Very classy.
Get some falafels to go. Not too bad.
I'll tell you where I would have gone. I would have gone to Vito's.
Yeah. It probably would have been slammed too. We're not the only ones who would have thought that.
Yeah.
That's the nicest lighting in the whole
I probably
place.
I probably wouldn't have gone to a restaurant on the Key actually.
Yeah.
Speaking of, the opening of Stefano's is coming up. It's
Really?
within a couple of weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks.
Well, let's move on, I guess. Even though I think this topic is hilarious. If we'll come back to it if I think of other ways to frame the Valentine's Day topic. So, talk of the town. Give me the Stefano's dish.
Yeah, I ran into the owner there, and he said, I asked him, he said, within a month, and he said that about a week ago. So that seemed bullish to me. I thought it was a lot longer out when I first went and saw it.
So it's almost there. Has anybody looked at it? I haven't since they first started working.
I was in there, and I noticed that one of the distinguishing features of the new Stefano's lounge, that's what we're talking about, that's connected to the store on the inside. So
Right.
there's a path to the inside. And my question was, are you going to be able to do some shopping and then go into the bar and partake in your purchase?
Right.
Like an on-premise place
Right.
connected to the store. So I don't know if that'll be the case or how it'll work or how that might help it succeed. I know it's not going to, it's going to be...
Am I going to be, do you know, you haven't asked, right? If you can, like, buy the bottle and then take it into the lounge?
That's what I was asking, yeah. That's what I was mentioning right now.
We don't know, though.
We don't know that yet, so I'll find out.
That would be an ideal situation.
It'd be cool. It'd be different.
Yeah. It would give you, it would be nice because you can have, like, especially for wines, you can have good wines.
But will that pay for the bar? You know what I mean? I don't, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll have beer on tap. That would be big because Ibis doesn't. Artisan does, but it's a restaurant. And nobody else really. I mean, the Yacht Club has beer on tap, but that's something that gives. Man, having to have a bottle at a bar. I mean, I'll do it, but it's not my.
But you know what that area is going to become? That's going to become like a happening spot because the Pablo's restaurant's right next door. Just realized that Pablo's Ceviche restaurant right next door, Pablo Araya. It's already a happening scene. I mean, people are out there. Pablo draws people. He's a connector, So, what if that combined now with Stefano's and people even hang out at Stefano's as it is right now.
Exactly. I mean, that's why they're probably opening the lounge,
Yeah. So I wonder if that whole and that'll be good for the restaurants there too.
And you don't know if they're gonna like have a door.
They have a door.
Oh, they have
the outside.
No, a door from the Stefano's now to the Stefano's lounge.
That's what the question he's asking.
A door inside. They're going to have one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're connected inside.
Maybe that is the idea.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. You can get great wines. I think people appreciate
Why don't we,
that.
Yeah, because at a regular bar you just don't. Or maybe just to buy a bottle, which you would never do at a bar, but here you do, and then you pay some extra to get the cups and the ice and all that stuff. I don't know. If they do it right, it could go gangbusters.
I like the idea.
We'll find out. We'll find out for sure. I see him all the time.
All right.
So are we still on Talk of the Town, or?
Yeah, we're going into some news and some. I'll take the tiniest bit.
So I saw this is a public free plug for a good thing that's going on. I bumped into my former art teacher, Mrs. Young.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a talk with her, and she was excited. I guess she's a part of Active Seniors on the Key, and they're doing a art show. Winter Art Show. It's happening on Thursday, February 11th, so that's tomorrow, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the SunTrust Bank. Food and beverages will be served, and a lot of local people putting out their art there to be seen. And it sounds like a good time. But she was very passionate about it and went through the trouble of sending me an email. And I told her I'd give her a plug, so there it is. Tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. at SunTrust. See some art.
Did she say anything about the artists? Are they Ask Club people, or are they?
Yeah, it's by members of the Ask Senior Art class. So that's the Active Seniors on the Key senior art class. And I mean, there could be some pretty good stuff there, you know. And if nothing else, it would probably be a good time. Said food and beverages, so maybe there'll be some beers going on there. So I encourage everybody to go, and that's it.
The Ass Club gets it done, man. I mean,
Yeah.
For all my beef with them, because some of the things I don't agree with that they lobby for, but they are an organized club and they get things done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're active seniors, and
Yeah.
seniors on the Key are very active people and
Yeah.
very opinionated and want to, you know.
Ain't got a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool, and she looks great. She still looks like my art teacher, and she was pretty excited about it. So she used to put me in detention all the time, but
I was gonna say,
we put that
man,
behind us.
She was tough. I know that. My
Oh my
kid,
god,
tough.
My kids had
she
her
was real
too.
tough.
Yeah.
My kids had her too, and they,
Oh yeah, she you know, trust me. I'm a pretty mild mannered guy and kid, and I went to the principal's office more than a few times in her class, but
I could see that.
it's water under the bridge.
All right.
Anyways.
So the village council has proposed renaming the part of the Mashta flat that they control to the Taintor flat in memory of Jim Taintor, who fought hard for our rights to the flat. So he was one of the guys who was trying to get this.
So just what exactly, explain to our listeners just what exactly they're doing out there, because they're
Okay.
creating a
swim
presence
zone
there, a swim zone.
So look, the Mashta flat extends really far off Mashta Point, and the Key has jurisdiction only over a small part of that. Just by law, the Key has jurisdiction. I don't know how many yards off the land of the Key, and so that part that they have jurisdiction over is going to become a swim zone. And the person who spearheaded this, and this is all because of like the party that goes on there, basically all through the warm months on the flat. So they lobbied Florida, they lobbied Miami-Dade to try and do something, but they won't do anything for a lot of reasons. And so the part that we do control, we're going to turn it into a swim zone. And so you won't be able, we talked about this last week, you won't be able to take your boat in there. Anyway, one of the spearheaders of this was Jim Taintor. And so in his memory, somebody, I'm not sure
Michael Kelly.
It was Dr. Kelly?
Yeah.
Dr. Kelly proposed that we officially rename it the Taintor Flat.
And put a sign. They're going to put a sign and everything.
Oh,
and
really?
In fact, it's going to be the map zone is going to read that.
Oh, that's kind of
Yeah.
that's really cool to come out on a chart.
So all of you Instagrammers and tweeters out there can post from Taintor Flat,
Yeah, from the taint.
from the taint.
Somebody had to say it.
I mean, yeah. That was a joke.
Was that the joke you were
That was
telling
the
me?
joke
earlier?
that I was telling you when we were writing the show notes. Yeah, but I think even if that's a funny joke, I still think it's a cool name for a spot, you know.
Yeah.
And it is kind of the taint because it's like in between the actual Mashta, and the rest of the Mashta flat.
Right. So
it's
to be
like
clear,
the
they'd be
in-between
naming just
part.
that section that the village has jurisdiction over.
Yes, just
And they'd
that
be
section.
putting signage in place.
Yeah, no
Okay.
disrespect, obviously, to Jim Taintor.
No,
I'm just having a laugh here.
Right. The joke needed to be made.
Yeah.
So
I hadn't thought of it.
and if it is named that, the joke will be made sooner or later.
Yeah. So
But okay.
I think it's nice. I think it's nice to put a guy's name on it.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish, honestly, the Key would do that for other people. Kind of like
that
I wouldn't mind if they renamed things that had generic names or whatever, or weren't going to lose their names, because renaming the Mashta Flat, you still have Mashta, so you're not really.
I'll tell you
you're
what.
not losing a name. You're just
and
just giving another.
the truth is, I mean, a lot of things have names, and they do this all over the place. I mean, for example, do you guys know what the name of the big bridge is?
No.
William
Powell.
Okay, you guys do, but I bet a lot of people do not.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, hopefully, the distinction of having it named after him will be respected and honored in the way that he would want, which is for all the madness to end there.
Yeah, exactly.
And for the place to be cleaned up and trash reduced, and just everything that it is currently at, or it has become, now even more of a reason to honor it, and to respect it, not if it's named after Jim Taintor.
So going back to that idea of renaming things, I would like it if they rename more things after either local people or just local things that mean something to the community. The only one I have issue with is when they renamed East Drive to Sonesta Drive, and I don't think they've renamed it back yet, or have they?
No, I believe it's still Sonesta Drive.
Yeah.
But I saw somebody suggest, that
I would have
be renamed Nassau Drive was
the original
somebody
name.
said that, yeah.
See, those kind of things I kind of like because it does like play into the history of the island, and I like commemorating people who have done something. Like, I really hope that at some point when we make something for Tim Stickney as the MC of the parade for 30 years, that type of thing, like, I think it adds value to the community, and it gives us a bit of roots in the sense of like remembering our past and all that kind of stuff. So,
Well, I've requested that Sir Pizza actually start doing that and naming pizzas, combination pizzas for locals. And I mean, we have the Rondi special. You've had the Rondi special, right?
I haven't.
The Rondi special, it's double pepperoni and garlic. It's ridiculous, man. Go in there and order the Rondi special. And even though, when I call and I order it, I'm like, yeah, I want the Rondi special. Like, what's the Rondi special? Like, oh, it's Manny, man. Just ask him what it is. Double pep and garlic. It's a meal. It's really good. But I thought it'd be cool if they had dishes, or like
something that gives it a little more of a home feel.
Right.
Yeah, even something named after Barry would be nice. I mean, that guy.
Yeah, I mean, there is the Ted special, right?
Yeah, exactly. Donut Gallery does it, and that guy Ted, whoever he was.
I think like the
Ted was
especially that in that
Nelson's
area,
dad.
Naming.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
No.
Ted was just a
local
patron that.
Yeah.
He was a patron?
He said,
really?
he said, I want this with the American cheese. And
there you go.
I think, but see, that was like a natural evolution of it. He came in there and then had it made that way every time. And they're like, well,
that's what I'm trying to do with the.
I think sometimes when you get to like, because it happens all over Miami and everywhere else. Like sometimes when you get a little out of hand by trying to honor people by naming stuff after them, it never gets into common usage anyway. And it's nice that it's named after them, but
it only makes sense if they had some kind of party.
I think so, and that's why you're saying like the Taintor flat. I think that's cool because that was his pet cause there. And and in the future, if it really does get cleared up there and things change, it'll be, that's very neat, especially for all of his relatives and who survives them to see that and be like, that was his thing.
And then it would be a trivia question way down the line.
Well, there was the the new park on Heather. They wanted to name it the Henderson Park, Henderson Lot or Henderson Park.
I lived on Heather. Man, they should name it the Rafa Park.
No, I like Corner Park. Corner Park is good. Yeah, but no, they said no to Henderson. They were like, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, who's this Henderson guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry to Henderson if he did something.
No, he was just here, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So.
Oh, no. So he has nothing to do with it?
Nothing. Yeah.
Oh, I got you. What about the Brad Noel Pass?
The what?
The Brad Noel annual Noel, right? What's Brad's last name?
Newsom?
Jesus. I'm thinking Sublime here. The Brad Newsom Pass.
Oh, the crossing path right there? Yeah.
Cross path. Yeah.
I'm like, the one Brad made? We're going to do one, but it's going to be a little different. You've seen the one. But I mean, then it's like, how can it really be different? It's got to be something that really lights up.
There's been other things on the key that have been named after people, such as Dr. Handworker, who is known by a lot of people. And I remember being a kid in elementary school, the cafeteria was named after him. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a Dr. John V. Handworker cafeteria. Remember that?
I thought they were in the scavenger hunt. You were going to have some of that in there in the hunt, because there's plaques all around the key that are for people, especially around the village green. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Maybe next time I can do them exactly what the plaques say, as opposed to just get one with the plaque.
Right. Right. Or the Bedia art. You didn't do that either. I had those all mapped out. I was going to get 5 points for each of those. I had them all laid out. But you know, somebody told me about a cool scavenger hunt idea that was like clue based also. So it's like clues.
Yeah, that's a thought. I mean, I don't want to get too into it. I still like talking about these names and stuff, but we'll figure it out next year what we do to switch it up and make it fresh. So, any names that you would name things right now? Could you think of anything that you would rename, or not rename, like take the charge, but that if the name was changed, it could be changed?
Well, we already know. I mean, we already know about the Garden District. That's done already. That's already like trademarked, I think, by now. But other than that, I mean, I don't know.
It's just hard because there's so many people that have been. It's such an enormous contribution to the island, and who gets things named after them?
Yeah.
You know,
there's this guy. I think his last name was Garfield, and he took care of the Galen entrance to.
Right. He made the key. Right. He would make the key.
And he would tend to it and everything. And it would be nice if it was called the Garfield Pass. Something like that. I met him a couple times. He was a cool dude.
And he's not with us anymore?
No, he passed away. He died a couple years ago, or like a year and a half ago or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. To name something after somebody has to be like
they put in work
for a moment.
For it to make sense. I mean, we all know it. I mean, Nixon Beach is known throughout Florida. And that was never formally named just because Nixon lived there, Winter White House.
Throughout the world, you can tag from Nixon's Beach.
Nixon Beach. People consider Nixon Mash to Flat right now. That's Nixon Beach to people who don't know this area.
Yeah.
This is all Nixon Beach area here.
The thing with Nixon Beach is it didn't have a name.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody named it.
So it just fell into that, just like a Ted special probably eventually started being like, here's Ted again.
Yeah.
Like I go into the donut gallery probably once a week. And I always get the same thing, and I don't get anything odd, but it's always like the usual, you know. But Ted wanted that specific thing, you know. So eventually, it fell into the vernacular at the donut gallery. I think that's cool, you know. It's just natural.
Did people call it the Mash the Flat before we started having to tell people where to go?
Rafa, before you ruined Mash to Flat, there was no Mash to Flat.
No, right?
No.
Yeah,
no one went there.
It was never referred to.
People didn't go there. People didn't
it was
pull
ugly.
up there.
But like, say you were coming home from Stiltsville at midnight, and you hit that flat.
Mash to Point, you call it, going around the point.
Yeah,
right, but you wouldn't say I hit the Mash to Flat.
No, it was called the Point. It was called going around Mash to Point. It wasn't saying.
Well, the point is the actual land.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Hit the flat by Mash to Point.
Flat wasn't really a term that was part of the vernacular because people that would go to flats would go to the Stiltsville's flats, but that was even after a long time.
And they still call it like the white spot out there.
Out here, they would just say Nixon's Beach or the helipad, you know, and it was boats that would anchor right there. Boats didn't anchor on the flat. Check out that moon, man. You see that? It's coming up.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
It's a waning or a waxing.
What do you call that?
A thin sliver of a moon. I got to go get a picture of that.
All right. Well, on that note, let me keep going through my notes here. Okay, this is I'll just go through this one quick. Editorial by Kelly Josephson this week in The Islander, who I think is the greatest editor of
Of Key Biscayne.
Yeah, I really like Kelly Josephson and what she does for The Islander. She wrote an editorial about how the broadcasts of the Channel 77 meetings and how everything works on the village council meetings were just were a mess, and how Theo actually has been trying to push for these guys who are running the Key Biscayne Channel 77 and basically all the media stuff that comes out of the village to update, because it's still broadcast in SD, or it was. I haven't checked it recently, but it was up until right now. and they didn't have any web presence. Oh no, they had a web player that played in Flash, and it was just horrible.
Who shoots it? Do they just have like a fixed camera there?
Yeah, they have these fixed cameras, and there's a guy in there in a booth who actually controls the camera, who pivots it around.
And however he shoots it during the thing is the way it gets replayed. There's no like post production going on.
No, there's no post. He does it live, and it gets recorded that way, and that's how it goes down. So she wrote this editorial, saying that when she has to watch the meetings, because as part of her job she's got to watch the meetings, and she's saying how like she would try to stream the meetings, and she would try to pull it up on a bunch of different devices, because
she would call it I think she called it the holy trinity of devices: the iPad, the iPhone, and the TV.
And the TV, all of them trying to get it on the live, because like the connection would crap out on the Village's side, and all these things would happen, and it was just bad. Anybody who wanted, it was just not accessible, but in the end, if you didn't have Comcast, you weren't going to watch those meetings. There was no way to, because they didn't have like time coding on the meetings, there was no way to tell your if you have a DVR or whatever to record them, because the Channel 77 program guide just says Channel 77 for a 24-hour block. So there's no way to like tell your thing. It was just a bad situation. And finally, really because of Theo, because nobody else really cared. I understand you're a council member. You're at the meeting. You don't really care to watch it again. You know what happened. They have updated the system apparently, and so everything should be good. They have been posting them to YouTube too, so you can watch them easily on your phone and all this stuff. Before they started posting them to YouTube, I finally figured out how to rip the video out of this horrible Flash player that they have. That was like really tough. It took me forever to find out where the actual video file was like sitting. I finally managed to, what I was doing in the end was like recording my screen as the video played. I would have to leave the computer on for like 3 hours as the meeting played, and then take that video and put it on YouTube, and I was posting them to Facebook. And I stopped doing that because
I think actually
the Village is doing it now. So if you go on YouTube and you look Village Keeps Game.
Ralph, I think I read about you today. As I was skimming through the Islander, thinking that we had to discuss some topics there. I came across Kelly Josephson's editorial, and in there was a quote by our mayor mentioning that key residents had even gone so far as to perhaps pirating meetings and posting them on YouTube.
No.
And that was you?
I mean, that was me, but
Myra, I've solved the mystery. I've solved the mystery.
I mean, Myra, I don't think I'm not pirating anything. I think it was like
I don't think that was her quote. I think that was the editorial's quote.
No, I actually saw the meeting where she said that. She did say pirating. And I was like, that's a little strong of a word. I mean, these things are kind of... I'm not sure who owns the copyright on these things, but...
Yeah, it's not like
they're public
in-demand
domain,
resource.
Yeah, they're public
the more
domain.
people watch
I don't think I was violating anybody's copyright. What I was trying to do is just make them more accessible, because I had the problem that it was just annoying to watch. I have YouTube on my TV, and I would much rather watch YouTube on my TV than have to go in a browser and play this Flash player thing that was just garbage. So I was uploading them to YouTube just in case anybody else was in my situation.
Let me ask you about the meetings. So somebody keeps the minutes of these meetings, obviously.
Yeah, Conchita.
Okay. How does the public access the minutes?
The minutes are posted to the Village website, which is also... I mean, it's
pretty
wonky,
but
it's a wonky.
I've been on it a few times to just try to find the trash pickup schedules, and it is very kindergarten.
Yeah, somebody should have done like a usability test there, like what are people clicking on, and put that first and foremost.
So, is there any way for residents to find out what went down in the meetings without watching the entire drab thing on YouTube or whatever other media? I mean, is there like a condensed, highlights of what happens in the meeting?
You can read those minutes. They're very formal, they don't get into the juicy bits.
Right.
But they're in there.
Okay.
What they really should do, and they should pay these guys to do, is that when they put the meetings up on video or whatever they do, is to do like I do for this show, is put show notes that say timestamp talking about this topic.
Which you do when you post the meetings also.
Yeah, I was doing that too.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Yeah, that'd be
Wouldn't
good.
it be nice if the Islanders just had a small part of their publication every week, just to like have like a this is what went down in the village meeting last time?
How much detail would you want?
Not much, just like this council member said this, and obviously it's going to be prone to bias because people are going to pick stuff out, but it would be nice to have a little Cliff Notes because I don't think a lot of people are watching the entire thing. Or
I think those Cliff Notes would be better on your device.
The council does make, the Islander does make summaries of these things, but they're really long and they're kind of boring. They're like budget talks about this, and then this guy said this, and this, and this.
I like your idea of having
timestamping the video, right?
But kind of coming full circle, Rafa. So the quality is awful. What's going to happen now? Because Kelly wrote this article, the editorial, and saying that all of a sudden we're coming up to 2016 now.
Yeah.
What's the resolution? What are they going to do?
It's going to go HD, and they are posting them to YouTube already, so you should subscribe to their YouTube channel. What's nice about YouTube, I've said this before when I started doing it, is that you can watch the meetings at 1.5 speed, and the people talk a little bit like a chipmunk, but you get used to it real quick, and you get through them a lot faster. Now, if they did the show notes, that would be even better because you could just click right with YouTube. You
the
put
show notes with a timestamp.
Yeah, with a timestamp.
Let's get that done.
Let's get that done.
Who do we need to speak to about that?
Theo, I know, listens to this show. I hope he'll listen. I think he's in Utah right now doing a little skiing.
He'll do it. Right there, done. Theo will get it done.
Theo, tell these guys, it takes a little while, but if somebody's doing it live and they're actually watching the meeting, just tell them to write down when they switch topics. As soon as they switch topics, tell them to write down the time.
Rafa, what's your advice in terms of naming the stamp, naming the topic? Because that also becomes a little bit, subjective.
Yeah,
right?
it does. It really does. Oh, sorry. What's going on? You should have just pivoted.
So how do you do that?
I should have jived there.
Hold on. All right, this guy's moving his mic. I'm sure it sounded like. So,
sorry.
What would I suggest? I mean, they're never gonna put like I did when I made my meetings, like Kelly and Al De La Cruz get into a little tiff. They won't even say it like that, They will never put that type of thing in, which honestly is kind of like salacious. I'm putting it in because I thought it was entertaining, so more than informative, but it would be nice if you got a little bit of like, here's the juice of the back and forth where the council members are going at it.
As if Kelly were writing the article.
But they also write only the content. She does. She says it better than I do, that's for sure.
Yeah.
She can take something like that and explain it without making it seem salacious. It's what it is. They should just put timestamps, and they can figure that out. Just put the damn timestamps of what they're talking about at what time.
Cool.
Right? Cool. All right. The other news that happened. Ooh, and we're going pretty long for having a 3-man team here.
What time is it?
It is 7:35 on this Wednesday, February 10th, 2016.
Well, this show ended at 7:30.
Well, that's our time to check our watches time, but it doesn't have to end at 7:30. Okay, let's go through these things real quick. I know there's not much to talk about this. The kid who crashed his car, he was 17 on New Year's Eve. He finally got charged with, correct me if I'm wrong, vehicular homicide. Not manslaughter, homicide. For killing the person in the back seat. He didn't get a DUI homicide, but he also didn't get a vehicular manslaughter. I think he got the homicide, like as if it was on purpose.
I'm going to look now.
Which is pretty bad. They also found a little bit of weed and a little baggie with Xanax in his car.
Xanax bar, it said.
Yeah, a little Xanax bar.
What is that?
Xanax is an anti-anxiety drug.
But what, it comes in like a chocolate bar or something, like an edible?
No. It's like a pill, but it's like long, and people call them bars because they look like little bars. And so Xanax as a
It's
recreational
an
drug,
anti-anxiety drug that when you drink with it, just really puts you down.
yeah, what it does is the reason people like to do it is because it really, like, if alcohol kind of loosens your inhibitions, Xanax takes you to another level where you are totally uninhibited. You don't. I can't speak for everyone who does it, but I can tell you that what it does is kind of just makes you very. It takes away all anxieties, basically. Like any type of, like, can I talk to a girl? Can I anything? Like, booze helps. This is just like.
And Xanax alone, if anybody's done Xanax without any kind of alcohol, relaxes the hell out of you. You combine it with alcohol, potentiates it, and people that are on bars are on another level entirely.
Yeah.
Definitely shouldn't be driving a car. That's for
The other thing is that it's a very dangerous drug because it's dangerous if you abuse it, if you do it a lot, because if you get off these type of drugs, they're called benzodiazepines. You can have like seizures and stuff like that. You can't just cold turkey quit if you are real into it. Now, real into it means that you're like taking like 10 every time.
Wow, man, I never heard of these.
Yeah, they're like the old ludes.
Yeah.
But don't mess with that. It's dumb. It was around when we were in high school, and I don't know anybody who's still into it. But these guys were 17, and I guess they're still around, these drugs. And
there was apparently there was a witness and surveillance video.
It said surveillance.
Yeah, and you can imagine. I'm sure the houses around there have surveillance cameras.
Yeah.
But they said that it showed. They said 60 miles an hour, but they said that he was actually accelerating around the curve.
Yeah, that's what it'll do.
That's what happened.
And with a rear-wheel drive car, if you accelerate,
spins out.
Yeah, it'll spin out if you hit the gas too hard while you're turning.
Yeah.
So he got arrested, and I guess we'll see what happens.
Vehicular homicide,
but
by the way.
he's also 17, so he might be charged as an adult, and he might be charged as a minor, which I could get into that. I don't think minors should be charged as adults, but that's either you're a minor or you're an adult. You know what I mean? But we'll save that for another day because it's kind of late. You want to tell us about the trolley, Manny, that you read about?
Oh, the Key Biscayne trolley. Yeah, I read about it in the Islander this week. In addition to the new Key Ride, the Uber-like on-demand service that there is here that we're all fans of, I think.
Yep.
They're going to do a Key Biscayne trolley, which was the other consideration that they had, whether it was on-demand, pick you up, or whether it was a fixed route type of service. So they're going to do a Key Biscayne trolley. I've been doing the Key Biscayne trolley forever. La Guaguita, we call it. Key Biscayne trolley. And it's nice to see a continued move towards the pedestrian community, more pedestrian community that we want to be.
Yeah.
So good move. There's a nice energy behind that happening right now, and hopefully we're going to see. You still see the dummies out there, big time.
What do you mean?
Well, people that are just not friendly to pedestrians.
Oh yeah,
I get double parking, or driving their huge truck 3 blocks.
Mm.
I was walking yesterday, and I was just thinking, like, over there at the South Ocean Club, South Mashta, West Mashta and Crandon. I cross that all the time, and I wish I had a Newsom crosswalk there, because they don't, even though there's a yellow light the whole time, they don't stop.
But there's not a stop sign there for pedestrians. It doesn't say stop for pedestrian.
No, it does not. And what's
Newsom's
funny
does.
is that there's a lot of people who cross there, but it doesn't get that. It does have a yellow light. So
it's confusing there. I see people stop there.
Yeah, some people stop on a yellow.
I find all those non-Newsom crosswalks very confusing.
Yeah.
Particularly the one by 7-Eleven, where people, do you know what I'm talking about? Like if you're heading east on Harbor, just about to get that circle, and there's that cross there. Even the one at the circle, because people tend to hang out there. So it's like, are you supposed to read people's body language to decide whether or not they're trying to cross or not? Because there's some people just kind of standing around. I just slow down always and see if they're trying to like make a move, but it seems kind of vague to me to be so much so that it's a law that you have to let them cross, because there's no like, they're not signaling or anything. It just seems pretty vague and dangerous. But
I think it's
the Newsom crosswalk, as we're going to call it for now
Well, we
on, I
need our
guess.
people to just go slower and to be
Right,
more,
and I do that,
more
yeah.
cognizant of what's going on the street, whether there's a kid skating
Well, I mean,
or walking.
today I drove by Key Biscayne Elementary when school was letting out, and the hordes of kids that were walking, and there wasn't that much traffic. I went right through there, and I moved right along. I was stupid enough to go by there during that hour, and it was awesome. There was like hundreds of kids, just like in mass exodus, and the crossing guard was there giving high fives to kids, and it was just like a really nice scene.
I see people driving and texting along Fernwood, right along the park, because that's a busy route, you know, and it drives me nuts, man. It drives me nuts. I mean, that is an area that you have to be so careful in.
I think it sucks that we have to have the Newsom crosswalks, especially the way they're set up with like big signs everywhere. I really wish it was just the yellow lights on the floor, and you would just press the button and they would light up, because I think people would see them without having those. I think
that's what we're gonna
over
do
there at the Village Green, like where the Heather and Village Green crosswalk is.
East
I think
Heather.
there's 3 of them, right? There's 3 signs that light up, like, and they're up high. I hate how signs look in the public way when you have too many signs. So I wish that all the crosswalks had like light up on the floor.
They have that at the airport.
Yeah,
When you're
exactly.
crossing there, it
Yeah,
lights
they don't.
up.
You don't need a big sign. You can just put it on the floor.
I don't know.
I think people react.
It would certainly help more than it is right now.
Yeah.
So, and that's part of the continued change.
Yeah.
So I think that's a step in the right direction. I think keeping the Newsom signs is good, because, you know, that's a dark area also, and they're already there, you know, and that just adds more to that change that we need. So
I think people don't notice, but once everything's like signed up, it's like a lot of signs. But whatever.
Sign everywhere.
Exactly.
Sign.
Well, that guy noticed. But most people
ago.
don't notice when there's like 4, 5, 6, 7 street signs in the same spot, and you're just like, this is like visual pollution. But
all right, we're almost wrapping, man. I'm getting hungry.
yeah, let's wrap, because I got a couple more things, but we can save them for next week.
Wow.
I want to wish everybody a very happy Valentine's Day. I hope you heed our advice on how to conquer the love of your life.
I don't know if
less
our
than
advice is particularly relevant on Key Biscayne.
Hey,
$30.
You know what? Maybe those.
Got to find the right girl for that
Well,
one.
here's
That's
the
it.
other thing. Like,
I don't want to open up the can of worms at the end of the show.
I tried to, you know, get you guys into thinking about the $30, but I think some of the plans we laid out are good plans for a lot of people, even if they later go on to spend whatever they spend somewhere else or
Correct.
gifts or
Yeah.
whatever. So, in that sense, I think it's a good plan.
Yeah,
I'm
please.
actually, no, now that I'm thinking about it, it's funny because I'm thinking that Theo listens to the show, and then I'm thinking like Theo and Alexa, and if Theo takes Alexa to any of these plans that I just told you, like, let's go to the Crandon Zoo. She's been to the Crandon Zoo 150 times. There's no way that's going to fly, you know what I mean?
I think the spirit is there.
Theo, but,
I still think the spirit is there.
some of the
though.
other people-
Just to show that you put the effort in. I
Theo
think is the
took her
main
to
thing.
like Steamboat or something, or I don't know where they are.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly it. That's like the whole Valentine's week.
Yeah, it's Valentine's
So-
week. That's like another level.
Yeah.
So that wasn't $30.
Maybe we got away with like $30 for a half hour or something. Well, that's the show. Do you guys have a fun way to sign off today? G-Man had a good one last week.
Oh man, I saw something about that, but I didn't listen to the rest of the show. I have to hear it.
All right. Well, I'm going to go back to my tried and true
All right.
because I like how it sounds on the radio.
Yeah, good sign off.
Yeah. On 3, can we just say goodbye?
You got it.
1, 2, 3.
Goodbye.
And turn your radio down if you're listening because the music's usually louder.